Hello and welcome to the Retro Sentai Wrap Up, the show where we go over some of the older episodes of Super Sentai, starting with Choujin Sentai Jetman and going forward. I'm one of your hosts, Bryce West, a writer and editor for the Illuminerdi.com, and these are our other hosts.
What up, y'all? It's Blackwing 2040. Welcome back to the Retro Sentai Wrap Up, where we talk about Choujin Sentai Jetman. And hopefully, you guys have been enjoying the ride with us because the show has started to heat things up a bit. And of course, the only place we can go from here is up,
Yep.
just like a
Yep.
bird.
Uh, I'm Ian Klingler. I usually say some funny intro, but today is not that kind of day because actually tomorrow will be my birthday. So
Oh,
There
happy
we go.
birthday!
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So tomorrow will be my
Everybody,
birthday.
everybody wish Ian happy birthday in the chat if you would. But yeah, so definitely got a great show planned for you guys today. I just realized, very professional of us. We have not discussed who's going to discuss which episode. I guess we can
Oh,
go free for all
nice.
like last time. Uh,
I
Well,
guess.
actually, Bryce, how did you feel about these batch of episodes? Because usually before we even start, we always say how we feel about these batch of
Sure,
episodes before
yeah.
we go.
We're coming off of an insane batch of episodes from last week, and so I think naturally this week was gonna feel a little weak with how absolute crazy the last three episodes were. So it is a little unfair, I think, to kind of rank these episodes against the last week's episodes, because I mean, if this were in between one of those filler batches, maybe this would have been a good batch of episodes. But I mean, compared to last week's episodes, these were definitely a little weak.
Yeah, I could definitely agree with that.
I actually disagree. I mean,
Okay.
like, I feel like they were good filler episodes, to be honest. They weren't going to have that same flair as last week, but I actually enjoyed a bit on a couple of episodes, especially the second and the third one, episodes 34 and 35. I actually liked those ones. I wasn't really too fond of 33, but we'll get to that here in a bit.
Okay, there we go. So yeah, we've got episodes 33 through 35 this week of Jetman. And 31, or excuse me, 33 is a Ryu focused episode where he is helping a girl who is having some strange dreams about her deceased father to gain plans for a new weapon to deal with a slippery biodimension beast. So this episode was a little interesting. It kind of gave us some insight into what Jetman or the organization was like before the first episode, and we got to see one of those scientists who is the father of this girl that I mentioned before.
Hmm.
So that was pretty cool. And basically, she's having these weird dreams about these blueprints and that she's trying to remember. And these blueprints so happen to be the blueprints for one of the weapons that I guess what was the motif of this biodimension? I know it
A
was like sort of
cockroach.
sticky.
Sticky,
Yeah. Oh
sticky
yeah, it was a sticky
cockroach.
cockroach. Yeah. And so for some reason, this sticky cockroach made it impossible for their normal blasters, so they had to get new ones. Uh, so it's just like, okay, so this is a blatant toy episode,
Hmm.
uh, but whatever. And so the girl kind of has still some animosity towards her father because he was so focused on his work that he never really was around his daughter, and so his daughter was still kind of trying to come to terms with that and the loss of her father. um and so that was interesting that she's admitted to this hospital, I guess, but with the way the doctor said it to Ryu, she made it sound like she admitted uh herself.
Yeah,
This like 11 year
because
old. It's like,
Yeah.
does she not have
I would,
grandparents, or is she not living with anyone? Like,
Like, there's no relatives that she can go
yeah,
to.
is she just
that's what I
living
was
by herself?
thinking.
So yeah, that was kind of weird. But Ryu is kind of trying to, get this girl to remember the blueprints, because she is, I think, the only person. She's the only person who knew about the blueprints. She's the only
Yeah.
person who he told.
Hmm.
And
Well, he didn't really tell her. He implanted the blueprints into her brain, like had a chip or whatever, and so like she's having the recurring
missed
dreams
that part.
of the
And that's even
blueprints.
more. And that's even more freaky.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
I completely missed that part. Okay. Yes. Well, uh, she has the blueprint implanted into her brain, and so
Yeah.
okie dokie. And yeah, so that's fun. And so Ryu's kind of trying to get her to sort of come to terms with what has happened, and her relationship with her father. And eventually, she she was, I guess, hurt. And they take her back to the base,
Oh yeah.
uh
Yeah.
and so she's having these dreams again, and she sees her father in the dream, and hugs him. uh so that's good for
Yeah.
them, that they made up, I guess, in dream form.
Ooh.
But
In subconscious
and
funds.
then
Mm.
she also remembers the last piece of the blueprint, and so they are able to finish these new blasters. I can't remember what the exact name of it was.
Beak
Beak
Smasher.
Smasher.
Exactly. The Beak Smasher. Uh and yeah, so they use the Beak Smasher, they blow up the monster, as you might have guessed. And then they go into their giant mecha. They beat the monster again.
Oh,
Uh
Nope.
there was no
there
Megazord
was,
battle.
never
No
mind, there
Megazord
was not.
fight.
Uh at this point, I just kind of assume there is one, because I
It's just
usually just kind of tune out at that point, because it's just like, okay, yeah, I know what's gonna happen here.
Yep.
But anyway, so there was no mecha battle. And they just blow the cockroach to smithereens with their what's it, the
Beak
beak
Smasher.
smasher.
the Beak Smasher that they combined to make the jet hand cannon.
Yeah. And Maria, I guess, was there, cuz, and she leaves. It's just like I literally was watching that. I was like, okay, so what was that, just Maria screen time? Like, what was that for? But whatever. She
Just like
literally didn't do anything.
curses,
And
and goes away.
then uh
Foiled
uh
again.
Mika, the girl, is now proud of her father, and all that he has accomplished. And then Ryu basically says that her father's work won't be in vain, due to the Jetman's love of Earth, and that is the end of the episode. So, what do you guys think?
I give it a 2 out of 5.
Yeah.
I'll give it a 3. It was okay. It was nothing.
I, I gave it a 2.5, mainly because I mean, what is it with these like smart children though?
Yeah,
Like it makes no sense. Like all these
yeah.
children are so smart at like the age of like 10 and or
Uh
11,
huh.
like they're thinking like they're adults.
Hmm.
But I mean,
That's funny. Yeah.
it was a weird filler episode nonetheless. This was probably out of the three the worst one that kind of out of the three episodes. This one was definitely the worst.
I disagree. We'll get to the next one. But yeah, I've got some problems with episode 34. But we'll get to that here soon. But yeah, everybody watching, if you're in the chat right now, be sure to give your rating of the episode as well. We'd love to hear it. But yeah, who wants to take episode 34?
I'll take episode 34 since
Here
this
we
is like
go.
the only episode that I actually liked out of this batch. I found this episode kind of smart because I remember the first time I watched this episode 2 years ago, just by the title it was like, Ryu, a traitor. I was like, wait, what's going on? And like you see Ryu uh downloading the data for Tetra Boy, and you see him. First of all, I don't know how he was able to make a contact to the Vyram with whatever device that he has. I'm like, dude. I was like, And then of course he starts wearing like a different wardrobe, wearing shades, a black jacket, and like,
Black.
oh, like I've gone to
And
the.
it's at night, so it's like, I wear my sunglasses at night.
It's like I've gone to the dark side, so leave. It was like, oh, he's now a traitor, so I guess he has to show proof that like, yeah, I disowned myself from the Jetman. So he calls the Byram saying like, hey, I got a disc, I got the data on Tetra Boy. You guys could probably use it. Here it is. He gives it to Gray, and him and Gray fight the other Jetman. You even see Ryu try to like escape his teammates while they're trying to like stop him, but of course he
Yeah.
outruns them as well. Especially Guy. I like how Guy's the one that jumps into his car, tries to get the first attack on him.
Yeah.
I'm like, of course, Guy is going to be the one that gets the close encounter while everyone else is far, far away. But it turns out this whole plan was all just like a trap to trick the Vyram. So pretty much he gives Tetra Boy to the Vyram, and then he turns out he had a special device that made that pretty much a remote control device that made them to control it while it was in Vyram's dimension. Ryu sneaks in. While he gets in, he contacts the other Rangers. They show up in Jet Hawken, and they pretty much try to destroy the device that prevents the Byron from, teleporting between dimensions. And they kind of they pretty much fail. But pretty much at the end, the commander's like, Ryu, actually, even though you guys didn't destroy the device, it's still a win that you guys were able to get into their base. Yeah, I actually found out pretty smart because using Tetra Boy as a Trojan horse to sneak in is actually kind of a smart plan because sometimes you
Big
have to
brain.
fool both sides in order to show like, hey, this is what I'm doing.
Okay, so
Yeah.
here's why it's actually a dumb plan. So, let's see. They almost get Tetra Boy completely, destroyed. Let's see. Ryu doesn't tell anyone when, if everybody was in on this, I think they probably could have won. But they all come in last minute. Nobody knew what was going on, and they have to find it out for themselves. And then they get out there, almost get defeated. That they get thrown out of the dimension or whatever, and call it a win. It's just like, are you serious? Like you guys almost like completely lost everything, and you're counting that as a win? I don't know. I think it's probably one of the dumbest stunts that has ever been on this
so,
show. Like
so
I thought this was a really really stupid plan. Like it only worked by chance. Like they're lucky that they didn't lose everything. Like they did learn how to get into their base or whatever. That's fine.
right.
But by doing so, they literally almost lost everything. If they lost Tetra Boy, if they lost Jet Icarus, I mean it's done. It's over. Like they lose. So
Right.
no, I thought that was a horrible plan. He should have informed the rest of the team. They they
Well,
they
he
shouldn't have
did
sacrificed their own.
technically.
No, he didn't. No, they had to
He
find out for
did.
themselves.
What whenever well yes,
Yeah,
but he
no.
also
So
he
he didn't tell
technically
anybody.
he
Nobody knew.
Well, he didn't. He didn't tell anyone. But he did. He
right.
left them a clue. He left them a clue.
He
Remember?
left
He
them a
left them a
clue.
clue, right? But he still didn't tell anybody. And if he told everybody else, I think that they probably would have won because they would have had some
But
sort of
here's the
plan.
thing. I
But they
think if
go
you
in there with
also
no
if you
plan. They no, hold on. They have no plan going into this. Not a single plan. They're just going into this blind because Ryu decided to do this all by himself. And then what was Ryu supposed to do by himself? Ryu almost lost Tetra Boy because he went by himself. But then the team happened to figure out, and that's why they were able to escape. Only because the team found out.
Well, okay. It basically, like I
you
said, it goes back to how you have to fool both sides because
right.
You
if you,
didn't. You didn't have to.
he
Like
actually kind of, he actually
He
kind of
had
had to
to.
too. Because remember when
no,
he
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 ran?
had
didn't.
to
Yes,
in
he
order
did.
for it to in order for it to work, in order for the Vyram to know that it was going to work, that they're split up and Ryu is actually doing it, he had to do that.
I don't
He
think
had
so.
to.
I think he could have told them. They would have known the plan. They would have had some sort of plan. They still could have pretended like they didn't know. Like, because there is something called acting.
Yeah, but the guy was like,
and
remember who's in charge, right? Ratigad's not that dumb. He ain't that dumb.
Right.
And remember, he was
well,
watching them.
apparently
He's like,
he
oh,
is because they believed it. And they, so
but still, you remember how he was
you
watching?
see,
It's like
oh no, you see.
he's like, oh, no. He was when he was watching them, and Ryu was trying to outrun the team. He was like, oh, they're fighting again.
Yeah.
So no, I think this was a horrible plan. Like they almost lost everything, and that's why this episode is a 1 out of 10.
I give it a 3.5. I give it a 3.
I give it a 4 because I like, kind of those heist deals where it was kind of like, kind of going off the rails where it kind of switches your audience into thinking something. But I really like this episode. I
I
think
like that kind of stuff if
it's
they do it not bad.
yeah.
So no, I get what you're saying. Donnie
Yeah.
Pearson is here. What's going on, Donnie? In the chat, he
What's
says,
up, Donnie?
"Hello, Bryce, Ian, Blackwing, and all. Hope everyone is well this afternoon. I hope you are doing well, Donnie. We appreciate you having you being here. But yeah, so unfortunately, probably worst episode of the series yet. So, and I'm glad we all can agree on that.
You do not compare it to Trash Dimension. You can't compare it to that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's true.
Why'd you have to remind me of that episode?
Because he always says it's the worst one. I'm like, no, I know which one is the worst. It's Trash Dimension.
You're right. I gave that like a -5. So
need I remind you about Udon Noodle Monster?
No, that was the best episode. Well, besides Ryu's grandma, but yeah, Donnie, let us, like, if you watch the episode, let us know what you thought of Ryu the Traitor. Seems like we've got a little bit of a debate on our hands here. So Donnie Pearson is the settling vote. So if he's on my side, he counts as 2. So but he's on your side, he counts as 1. But yeah, so I mean, it was okay. It wasn't Trash Dimension. I'll definitely I'll give it that for sure. And I thought it was cool to see Ryu fighting the Rangers. I think that was kind of cool to see. So, alrighty, Ian.
Episode 35. Akko befriends a girl who finds courage through a friendly dove but can't find the courage within herself. This one was really, really weird because they decided to make the villain a rat. It was like poison gas rats.
Yeah.
So they put like the bug on like a can of waste.
Mm-hmm.
And was just like, yeah, just burn everything to the ground. That's fine enough. And so I think, how did Akko get into this? I think Akko saw it, and then I think it was like some dove or whatever. The dove got in the way, and so Akko's like, "Oh man, I'm so happy," and all that. And so later she tries to find like where the dove went, I guess. And so she eventually finds it in a university school of medicine, where she finds this little girl. What is it with all the kids being smarts? Like, I don't understand. Like,
okay. Here's the thing. They have to like incorporate. I don't know. I guess with a show like this, it's hard. Try to incorporate the audience being in the show to have like a relatable substance into it, because if you put a child, I mean, if you put a teenager or like an adult or young adult in an episode, the audience is not going to really find that relatable. But if you put like a child in there, then of course it makes it look like, oh, like, remember, kids, like, this could probably be you someday. You could probably meet the Jetman, or you could probably meet the Zoo Rangers, or so on and so forth. Yeah. It's supposed to add like a little relatable substance in there.
Oh, okay. But anyway,
Justin, sorry.
Yeah, like Justin.
But Ako meets Eri, and she's like, "You've gotta stop the monster." And Ako's like, "How did you know like you were coming?" And she's like, "Oh man, my dove, I can like sense it." And I'm like, "This
Yeah,
is
she
now
can
getting
see through
spiritual."
the dove, and they
She
never
can
they
see
never
see through the dove.
explain how that's even possible. They don't
She
explain if she has
Correct.
some superpower or anything, but she can see through the eyes of the dove just
she has
because.
a psychic connection with the dove, and
I
it's not even
guess
explained.
so, because
Yeah.
Yeah, at
because
this
no other
point,
explanation makes any sense.
yeah, because at this
So
point with this episode, I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm done.
so Aries' mother comes in and she's like, she has a heart defect, but it can be fixed with surgery. But Aries doesn't want to do it because she's scared. And so instead of, leaving it at that, Akko's like, you know what I should do? I should put her in a wheelchair and take her on a picnic.
Smart,
Yeah. Okay.
real
And
smart.
so Alco's like, come on, please. And she's like, no. And then finally the rat appears, the Vibram appears, and so Akko loses like I think she lost her communication, her corresponder, and so like she's running away, and then she gets blinded by the
Yeah,
gas.
Zooks.
Apparently, it got in her eyes, and she's like, I can't see. And so now Eri, with the heart defect, has to tell her where to run and all that. And she's like, I can't do it. Like, we're stuck. And then, luck, because yeah, it was Radicate that was chasing after them.
Yeah,
And so
Yeah,
he was like toying with them, like, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you
yeah. And if
wherever
he
he
had
could,
just
just
got
like
them,
walk. Yeah.
he would have killed a Jetman that day.
yeah. He
Yeah.
would if we instead of just walking towards him, he could have just blasted him with right from where he was
Yeah.
standing. Like I did it.
Yeah. So, luckily, Kaori and Raita save them, and so they go out and they try and fight, but of course, Akka was still blind, and so she's swinging it all around and she's trying to shoot, but nothing is working. So she brings up the Beak Smasher, and apparently, the Beak Smasher can bounce off the blast can fire off of walls. It's
This
so
is yeah.
literally
I was like, wait a minute. Doesn't this? I was like, wait a minute. Didn't the Beak Smasher had like some kind of point where it could just like
Yeah.
bounce off or something? This I was like,
yeah.
aha.
So it's a can't miss weapon. You
Yeah.
shoot it somewhere, it'll bounce back and hit somebody. So uh so they destroy it, but then it grows big. And Akko's like, oh man, I don't know if I could do this. And then all of a sudden Eri comes in like, let me join you. I can be your eyes. Let me join. And I'm like, oh man, they're gonna kill this kid. Like what, you put her in a high-tech machine at her age, she's definitely going to be pressing a whole lot of buttons. Like, what does this button do? And it just explodes. But she's she's like, move to the left, move to the right. Now fire, and she throws her wing cutter. They finally form Jet Icarus, and then they all like do the final. They destroy it and all that, and then Eri finally, like, I'm guessing she passes out because of all the excitement or whatever.
Yeah.
So she's rushed back to the hospital, and she's like, "Mom, I want to get an operation. I want to do the heart surgery." I was like, "I don't think you have the choice because
Yeah,
you're not
honestly,
18
You're gonna get it
above."
yeah,
anyway.
Yeah.
that was kind of weird.
Uh,
And
yeah.
and then well, that's pretty
So
much it, right?
yeah, that's pretty much it.
There we
Yeah.
go. We got Psycho O's 2711 in the chat. What's going on, man? He says, "What part of the show are you at?" We are on episodes 33 through 35. We've got it right there in the title for you, and we also got episode descriptions in the YouTube description box down below as well. So, yep, Yeah, he found it. So, but yeah, what do you guys think of the episode?
This episode gets a 1. I'm
Really?
told you by this point. When I got to this point, I was just like, I'm checking out. I'm checking out.
I actually didn't think it was that bad because I actually like the idea of Akko like not seeing. Did I like it that Eri helped her out and actually went to the cockpit? No, I felt like
Oh,
Akko
I
could
thought that
have
was
continued
fine.
to struggle. I felt like she could have continued. It's just like let's just do it, all right? And
I actually kind
but
of like that a little bit.
Eh,
eh, it's not bad. I give it maybe 2.5, maybe 3. I mean,
I'm
I think
around the
it
same.
was.
I'm around the same. It was nothing special. I think a little below average, maybe.
Yeah,
I didn't really mind the girl going up into the cockpit. I thought that was kind of cool, like her like helping Akko because she can see.
yeah.
And so since Akko helped her, she helps Akko. So I don't know, just kind of returning the favor kind of deal. So I didn't really mind it as much.
Okay, in that case, I'll probably just bump it up to like a 2. Just a 2.
There we
That's
go.
but a
Wow,
2 is as
I
high
changed Blackwing's
as high
mind on the
as
episode.
a 2 is like as high as I'll go. That's as high as I'm going.
There we
you're the
go.
persuasion master, Bryce.
There we go. Yes. So now I just got to convince you all that episode 30 what was it? 4 is
34.
horrible.
Okay, you can't. No, you can't convince me that.
No,
No, no,
no.
Well,
won't
you know,
convince me that.
I would like it. It's just the fact that they didn't do a good job is kind of my issue with episode 34. And so that's just kind of my thing. Anyway, anywho, we got a little bit of time left here today. So Blackwing, we've got a lot of news kind of going on in the Super Sentai fandom world about the fan subs and Toei sending DMCA's and stuff like that. So do we have any updates on that story?
Well, I wouldn't say update, but we had some drama this morning because now we got people in the fandom
Yeah,
tweeting a producer, and the producer's like, I don't know anything about fan subs, and now just it's at the point where just like,
yeah.
shut up,
So if you're one of
shut
those
up,
people, stop.
stop it, stop it.
Stop it.
Those people will
Get
probably
some
have
help, boy.
literally no control over that. It's the higher ups at Toei. And probably nobody at Super Sentai has anything to do with that.
Or
It's
probably they don't even know,
yeah,
and just they really don't know at all. Just
because
shut up
I
and
don't know
leave
if
it
you guys
alone.
knew this, but Super Sentai is a Japanese show. So
Like this
the
ain't
people who
this ain't
work on
America.
Super Sentai in Japan don't really care about what's going on here in America.
America.
Like
So
I'm pretty sure they're flattered that they have an American audience, but still,
yeah,
don't tell them that. Don't tell them that stuff. Don't.
yeah. So
Just really don't.
if you're one of those people, don't be. I think that's kind of the moral of that story. And
This ain't like an American show or like a cartoon. Say like a superhero show gets canceled, and you tweet the producer, be like, "Hey, is there a way you guys can bring this back?" I'm like, no, no, no.
yeah, that's
That's
not
not
how
how
this
this works.
works. So anywho, yeah, there's that small little update. And also, Blackwing, is there? I mean, obviously, like TV Nihon and like a lot of the major subbing company or whatever you want to call it groups have kind of stopped doing tokusatsu stuff. But is there anywhere else that fans can watch this kind of stuff?
There is, but I have to tell you behind the scenes. I can't just. I'd rather not just. I'd rather not just blurt that out here, and then someone could use this and be like,
Sure,
"Hey, Toei," you're like, "Hey," and somebody just snitches to Toei. I'm like, "Yeah, I can't." I'm like,
sure.
I
I
can't.
mean, well, we'll just say that there are ways still to watch new episodes and even old episodes of Super Sentai. Obviously, you can watch them all legally on like Tubi. Well, Jetman through Hurricane, you can all watch legally. So that's pretty easy. And then there's also other ways you can watch Super Sentai, like newer episodes or some of the non-Shout Factory seasons, in a similar fashion to how we will be watching Dino Fury in the summer. So that's all I'll say about it, I guess. Uh,
But yeah, just it's just don't be a snitch. Just like if this is the only way for us to enjoy these things, don't be snitching it off to to the higher ups because I mean pretty much how do you think we got these Sentai DVDs in the first place?
Yeah. I mean, it
How
was
was
from
the
the fan subs. I mean, the fan subs made it popular, and then we got official subs.
Yeah, exactly. So if who knows if we ever get the chance to get more Sentai DVDs, God, I'm praying that we
I'm
do.
hoping that this means they have plans for them,
Yes,
because it's
because
just like, why would you go and get rid of all these fan subs whenever this is the only way for us American fans to watch, if they're just planning on doing nothing with it. So I feel like they've got to have some sort of plan on what they're wanting to do with Super Sentai here in the States. Maybe they're going to keep going with Shout Factory. Maybe they're just going to be uploading to their YouTube channel like they've been doing with a lot of Kamen Rider and Metal Hero stuff. Um,
but I mean
there's
we'll see because I mean on the Kamen Rider front, things are not so too bad because we're getting more stuff. We're getting more Kamen Rider stuff coming to Tubi, and we're getting 01 on DVD sometime this year.
Mhm.
So that's that. I mean the Rider stuff is fine, but of course on the Sentai side it's a little hectic.
Yeah. So still kind of a chaos going on here in the Toku fandom. But honestly, I mean, these fan subs are gonna go away, and then I'm sure a new group is just going to pop up.
Hmm
So
when one dies,
I think this is really just more going to be a bump in the road. I really don't think that this is the end of Super Sentai here in the States. Even if we're talking about fan subs, I don't think it's the end.
hmm
Uh, so I think everybody is panicking right now, and I think everybody just kind of needs to calm down, take a deep breath, and then figure out what's gonna happen.
yeah,
I
don't just assume this is the end because trust me, I'm pretty sure they're gonna bounce somewhere else, somewhere
Yeah.
they're gonna bounce
If
back from
there's a
this.
will, there's a way, and there's definitely a will. So there's definitely a will to have all the stuff here in the States. There's a lot of fans here in the States. I think a lot more than people would expect. It's definitely not something huge, like of course like Power Rangers here in the States, or even something like one of the juggernauts like Marvel, DC, Star Wars. Uh,
Hmm
but there is still a significant fan base here in the States for this kind of stuff, and I really don't think that this is going to be impossible to watch. I think I'm pretty sure. I mean, there already is new people coming up and releasing new subs. So again, just a little bump in the road. I think everything will be fine. I honestly I think all of the Zenkaiger episodes are still going to get subbed and everything. And you can also still watch Jetman through Hurricaneger legally on Tubi, and Shout Factory. So
hmm
there's plenty of options
Mhm.
there. But uh, roping things back in here as we begin to wrap up. We've got we're getting back into the story. I think we're pretty much with story episodes throughout the rest of the season now, so that's gonna be a lot of fun. We're doing 4 episodes next week and throughout the rest of this season. So that's also going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot more to talk about here on the Retro Sentai wrap up. So yes, we are
And
doing.
that means that means longer streams.
Yeah, there we go.
Yay!
But we're doing episodes 36 through 39, and we've got a new face showing up. A new face showing up, as I should say. So that's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to change the dynamic. Everything's going to get crazy all over again. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope you all will be there to join us next week for Choujin Sentai Jetman episodes 36 through 39. So you guys have any parting thoughts before we hop off?
Not really. Just been enjoying the ride, enjoying watching Jetman for my rewatch of Jetman. It's been great. I've noticed yeah, some episodes are better than others, while I know some episodes are like a slog fest. But other than that, it's been a good ride so far. We're almost home. We're almost
Yep.
home.
I mean, I'm really enjoying this. I really was skeptical doing watching Super Sentai because I felt like one, I just didn't have time to do it, and I
You
just
have
didn't
time.
know
All
how
of a
I would.
sudden, you do have
I
time whenever you have to
well,
watch it.
yeah, yeah. Well, I have time now to watch it, but I was like, okay, how the heck was I, you know, how was I gonna, you know, be blended into it? How was I? And so being a part of this was definitely best case scenario. I mean, it's been really fun to be here so far and watching Jetman, and hopefully it'll continue for the future. Hopefully till the end of this
Yeah.
season is at least.
There we go. Donnie Pearson back in the chat says 10 out of 10 for episodes 33 through 35. Thank you so much for watching, Donnie. We really appreciate you being here. With that being said, I think that is going to wrap things up here on the Retro Sentai wrap up. Be sure to tune in next week. We've got some really fun episodes coming up. So definitely stay tuned. And remember, here at the Illuminerdi,